How are we doing, guys? So, of course, the World Cup is still in action and there is no Premier League football. But I want to talk about Arsenal and in particular Mikel Arteta because, as the title say, some of our fans do not deserve him. So, of course, today we're going to be talking about Arsenal and in particular Mikel Arteta. Not long until the Premier League season resumes, and I, for one, cannot wait because I've missed it big time. But listen, the title, pretty much self-explanatory, and I'm going to go into a few details as to why I'm saying this and break it down a little bit. But some Arsenal fans do not deserve Mikel Arteta. Now, first and foremost, we have won nothing right now this season. 14 games gone. It's been great. We're sitting top of the league and everything else. But we don't deserve him. Some fans don't deserve him. And I kind of look back over the last couple of years or so since he's took charge as manager. And I think what's really opened my eyes to a few things is the Amazon documentary. And I've got the opportunity to watch that all, properly. And kind of see what really goes on behind the scenes. Get to see what Mikel Arteta's like as a manager. What he's like as a person. And I know there's so much that we probably don't see. But it's very, very good that we actually get to see that kind of fly on the wall. Those moments that you wouldn't normally have the opportunity of seeing. Under Arsene Wenger, we were very much a closed club. It was all very much in-house. This kind of stuff would never, ever have happened. And I think ultimately towards the end, that is what started to cause the divide within the fan base. That is the reason why there was such a divide between the club and its fans. It was absolutely huge. You didn't know or recognise what was going on anymore. But I look at now and I look at the fan base and look, we will never ever see eye to eye. Every single fan of Arsenal Football Club will never, ever, ever agree on anything. There will always be objections and opinions, and that's absolutely fine. But what I think that we can look at and agree on is that right now, that divide between the club and the fans has gone from this to that. It's so much different. And one of the main reasons for that is Mikel Arteta. I think he needs to take a lot of credit for what he's done. I think that the way he's helped bridge the gap between the fans and the club is massive. When you watch that documentary and you look at some of the games, he's always mentioning the fans. He's always talking about the fans, what he wants the players to do, what he expects them to do to try and create this kind of atmosphere. He was the one that went and spoke about the song that gets played before every game now. And I know that it was out there and fans have started to, take it in as their own. The North London Forever and everything else. But it was Mikel Arteta that actually said that they'd spoke with the club and they wanted it played before a game. And that was going to be the first time. So he understood this. He recognised this. He sat in a meeting with the players and told them, listen to the song. This is what we want to do. Now, it's a part of the fabric. Before the games at the Emirates and you hear the song and the fans, and there's never been an atmosphere like it. Not since we've been in the Emirates anyway. That's one of the biggest problems we've had moving from Highbury to the Emirates, is that there's never been an atmosphere. It's always been a library. But now it feels like an intimidating place to go for visiting supporters. It feels like it's really our home. It feels like a fortress. And you only have to look at our record in the Premier League this season. You can go right back to, last season and stuff. And our record wasn't that bad at the Emirates anyway. But this season, absolutely superb. Unbeaten in the Premier League at the Emirates. And you've got to think about the teams that we've beaten at the Emirates as well. The likes of Liverpool and Spurs, etc. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, yes, what Mikel Arteta has done is just absolutely massive. We've got a long way to go, don't get me wrong. We've still got a lot to prove this season. We've still got to be able to, show that we can withstand what we're doing and, really challenge for that Premier League title. But there's some fans that are still not happy. There's still some fans that are still moaning. It seems like some fans are just waiting for a defeat, waiting for a moment, waiting for something to happen so they can go, I told you so. Mikel Arteta's not good enough. Mikel Arteta this, Mikel Arteta that. Behave yourself, man. Are you not seeing what this guy is doing from the top to the bottom at Arsenal Football Club? He's changing a whole entire philosophy. The club, complete fabric, everything. He's changing it all. If you can't see that, then you have an agenda. It's that simple. When you look at what he's doing, Arsene Wenger was at the club for over 20 years. It's pretty evident that, you know, he had a control over absolutely everything. And this is not about Arsene Wenger and trying to put him down or anything else. This is about moving on after Arsene Wenger, because it's going to be difficult. Look at what's happening at Manchester United. You know, the amount of money that they're pumping into the squad season upon season upon season, and they're bang average. You know, and I look at them at the moment and Erik ten Hag and the situation there, and for Manchester United's sake and their supporters' sake, you hope that they actually, you know, back the manager and do what Arsenal's owners did with Mikel Arteta, which was through the storms, through the tough times, back him. If you watch multiple videos of mine during our most darkest hours, the worst times when we went on that hideous run, I was still backing him, and I faced abuse from so many people constantly in my face about Mikel Arteta. Not good enough. Get rid of him. And I kept saying, you need to back him. You need to understand the process. We're not just going to click our fingers and have a magic wand and we're going to be this unbelievable team overnight. It's not going to happen. It never happened to Manchester City. It never happened to Liverpool in the first season, second season under Jurgen Klopp and everything else. You know, first season under Jurgen Klopp, I know he took over a month within the season started and whatnot, but he finished 8th that year. Granted, the next season he managed to get Champions League football. That would be the one thing that you look at and say we should have got last year. But again, watching the documentary, you look at that, and I don't blame Mikel Arteta for us not getting into the top 4. I look at a hideous end of, you know, season run of games and form and what we went into those games like. And you can say, oh, the manager has to get the players right or do anything. Did you see the way some of those players performed in some of them games? He was absolutely disgusted. Just as disgusted as what we was watching those games, whether you were there, you know, watching them on telly or listening, you know, to 5 Live or whatever it is. At the end of the day, it was disgusting. I think a big factor in us not getting into the top 4 last year was Thomas Partey's injury against Crystal Palace. Losing him was absolutely massive because you take him out of the side and all of a sudden you've got Sambi Lokonga. No disrespect to the lad, but you're not Thomas Partey. You know, Kieran Tierney, he also got injured at that time, out for the rest of the season. And right then, you know, you didn't have a Zinchenko, you know, for example. You didn't explore the idea of tomiyasu coming over because you didn't have a right back at that time. So tomiyasu was going to have to play over there. And he was getting a few niggles and knocks at that time as well. You couldn't put Ben Wright, you know, at right back because you didn't have a William Saliba. And then you had to deal with Rob Holding, who then goes and does something silly in the North London derby against Spurs when he's already on a yellow card and puts his arm across, you know, Son's face and everything. Those are not things that the manager can control. You know, and this is the difference. And also, the big difference is Gabriel Jesus. You know, players like this, winners, the mentality. Mikel Arteta brought those players into the club because what he saw was we need winners. We need people that know what it's like to get tough when the times get tough. And that's what he's done. And if you can't see it, like I said, you've got a massive agenda. And there's still people out there that are still sitting on the fence, still sitting there and saying, you know, all these different things about Arteta. And it seems like the moment there's one bad result, something goes wrong, bang, instant. You know, very quick to judge, but not quick to praise. And that's the thing. And it's not anyone in, you know, particular. It's not a specific person. It's just in general from what I've seen over the last, you know, 7-8 weeks since I've been out and everything. And I see some of the stuff. And even when you look on the documentary at some of the, you know, comments from fans during tough periods last season, and they were just not backing him. But I ain't got a problem with people that, you know, have said they don't think Arteta's the right man for the job, but they've now changed their mind. That's absolutely fine. They can hold their hands up and say, yo, listen, I got it wrong. I can sit there and talk about Aaron Ramsdale. I never wanted that guy at the club. Absolutely no chance. I wanted Bernd Leno to stay. I thought, Aaron Ramsdale, you must be mad. He's been relegated twice, for his previous 2 clubs. I don't want him nowhere near Arsenal. He's useless. Listen, my hands up. I got it completely and utterly wrong. That's why Mikel Arteta's the manager and I'm not, and you're not, and he's not, and everything else. He will get things wrong along the way. He will make mistakes, but he's making more good than bad. And this is the thing. You look at us this season and the mentality and the way that we're doing things is completely different. When there's a setback, we react instantly. Last season, when we had a setback, it went on and on and on. Right towards the end of the season, you've got to look at that situation. We had Crystal Palace, we lost. Horrendous performance, lost that game. We then went and lost the next 2 straight after that. Now that's the difference with this season so far. We lose a game in the Premier League. Now we've only lost 1, so I ain't got a lot to go on here, but we've only lost 1. Manchester United, what did we do? Instantly reacted. Reacted instantly. You look at the performance against Southampton. Disappointment in many respects because the game was there for the taking in the first half. But we walked away, with a point. But we reacted in the next game. And I also look at the Southampton one. We lost there last year. We've lost there loads of times. It's one of our bogey grounds, to be quite honest with you. So a point is a point at the end of the day. But we're reacting every single time. We go and lose the game against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. Some people hold their hands up and say, yeah, it's only the Carabao Cup. We played a weakened side. We react straight after. We lose to, what was it, in the Europa League game? Didn't really matter when you look at the grand scheme of things. We've ended up topping the group anyway and whatnot. But you look at that one and instantly we react. It wasn't a great performance that night. Mikel Arteta held his hands up, not good enough, move on. And we react. There's the difference. So I look at it and I think maybe the experience of last season has actually worked in our favour. Because sometimes you've got to go through adversity and tough times to come out on the other side. Sometimes you learn more from a defeat than you ever will a victory. And there's the difference. So listen, like I said, it's a long way to go yet. A long, long way to go this season. There's only 14 games. We've got to double that and everything else. And, we don't know how we're going to react after the World Cup and everything. And, we could be sitting there in, end of, January time. And we could be in the same position we are now. And we're saying, right, we really need to start thinking about us being real title contenders. Or we could be sitting there at the end of January going, oh my God, the World Cup's absolutely ruined us. Look what's happened, etc., etc. We don't know. But right now, everything is exactly where we need it to be. We're 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. We're playing beautiful football. And we're also doing the ugly stuff as well when we need to. We're having to dig out those kind of results like Wolves, like Leeds United away. Tough places to go away from home. Doesn't matter where they are in the league. The tough places to go. Because that's what I've noticed as well. When other teams like your Man Cities, Liverpools, etc. all go to these grounds and they don't pick up results, it's a tough place to go. It's always difficult going there. When Arsenal go there and get the result, it's only them. It's only Leeds, only Wolves, only... Make your mind up. Come on, man. We're fighting against everyone all the time. We don't need our own fans to be fighting against either. So this is what I'm saying. Some fans, they don't realise how fortunate they are. They don't deserve Mikel Arteta. That is as simple as that as far as I'm concerned. They don't, deserve him. And I think that he's going to take this club further and further and further. I genuinely think he could be one of the greatest things to happen to this football club. I genuinely believe that his, win percentage and his ratio is better than any manager in the history of Arsenal Football Club, including Arsene Wenger. I genuinely think that in 10 years' time, we could be sitting there talking about Mikel Arteta and what he's achieved at Arsenal as being right up there with the achievements of Arsene Wenger, if not more. Never take away what Arsene's done, the Invincibles and everything else. But I genuinely believe that Mikel Arteta could be right up there. I genuinely think he is generational. He is an unbelievable manager. And if you understand the game and if you actually watch the game and you watch what he does and the things that he's done, you will see it. I believe that the club believe in him. I believe that 95% of the fans believe in him now. And I think that the players believe in him. He's got rid of the rotten apples. And he's brought in what's needed. He's ruthless as well. For too many years, how will we, many times will we sitting there as Arsenal fans going, why are we awarding this player a new contract? Why are we giving this guy a new contract? Why is he still here? Why? He's literally giving players a season going, right, show me what you can do. Not good enough. Bye-bye. Out the door. We've seen it this season with Lokonga, and he's been making comments, and Mikel Arteta straight in there. I've got no doubt that Lokonga will probably be gone at the end of the season. The likes of Tavares, he brought him in, thought, right, he looks like the right kind of player that we need, etc., etc. Brought him in, not good enough, bang, out the door, see you later, mate. And that's how ruthless he is, and that's exactly what Pep Guardiola does at Manchester City. Yes, he's got the luxury of having all that money that he can spend 30, 40 million pound on a player and then replace him with 30, 40 million pound player. But Mikel Arteta doesn't care. He's like, nope, sorry, out the door, bye-bye. And the club are backing him. From Edu to the Cronkies, etc., they're all backing him. Because what he did with Aubameyang and that, you can see by that documentary again, it wasn't easy for the club to back Arteta. But they did. They did. And some people will say, keeping Aubameyang might have got us into the Champions League. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. He weren't getting us into the Champions League. I'm sorry. He would have made no difference to those games against Spurs, against Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Southampton, etc. It'd have made no difference. We were toothless in that game. It wasn't about our finishing. It was about the fact that we'd lost our bottle and there were players in there that just absolutely folded like a pack of cards. And it's as simple as that. So Aubameyang wouldn't have done nothing, but we got rid of him. Out the door, bye-bye. You look at the team, the harmony, everything else. So much better, isn't it? Come on now. So listen, there we go. That is it. That is my video. Had a little rant, had a little say of what I feel at the time and what I think right now. And listen, people will agree and disagree. You know how it is. But let me know in the comment section what you think. If you're not an Arsenal fan and you're watching from the outside in, what are you thinking about us right now? If you are an Arsenal fan, if you were Arteta out and you're now Arteta in, let me know. What was the moment that changed it for you? When was that moment that made you say, yeah, you know what? I see the difference. And if you're still Arteta out, let me know. Tell me in the comment section why. So listen, if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. And I will see you lot very soon. I'm out of here.